Okay, going back to my senior year in high school, probably I was class of 2020, so not too long ago, maybe a couple months ago. Before that, I had only gotten my blood taken out once, and it was a couple years back from that, and I believe I did faint when they were taking out the blood because I believe I didn't have enough to eat that morning the day before they took my blood for lab results or lab testing. So I've always been a person with like, I wouldn't say anxiety, but I do tend to overthink a lot. So I didn't think too much of it. I just thought, oh, I'll sign up for the blood drive. I'll just make sure I eat and drink a lot of water the night before. So I was at work. I do remember I was at work the night before and I was just drinking a lot of water. I'm trying to keep my mind clear that, oh, nothing will happen, nothing will happen. The day of the blood drive, it's kind of cold, it's cloudy, didn't really help me with like clear my thoughts. So I'm in class. So with my high school, we had periods. So first period, second period, third period. I believe they called me to draw my blood within my third period class right before break. And I remember that morning I had a breakfast sandwich from Starbucks and coconut milk. Not coconut milk, I had a pink drink, so it had coconut milk. So I thought, oh, coconut water or coconut milk is very like hydrating. But I mean, I should have just went for the water of like a big glass of water, but now I know. And during the blood drive, it was in the gym, so everybody's just watching each other, just talking to each other. And since I'm an overthinker, um, I wasn't scared of needles or anything until that day. So I sit down, they're taking my weight and everything. And I was a little petite. I'm petite, so I was short, but I was a little bit skinnier back then. And they told me that I had just reached like the minimum weight limit to draw blood since I was like very like I believe I was like 105. So I had just reached the limit. So they're like, oh, okay, just take it slow. I'm like, okay. I sit down, they're drawing my blood, and right before you faint, right before I faint, I get like a very like uneasy feeling. I get very fatigued. My face gets really like dry and like no color. So my lips like they get no color and it looks like I'm dead. So I was at the midpoint to fainting and it was kind of embarrassing. It was very unsettling, having to go through that with like a bunch of like other like students like around you, just being like, oh my gosh, like what's going on, or like all eyes on you. So I feel like that made it worse too. So they just stopped drawing my blood and they're like, oh, okay, we'll give you like a drink and something and just like take a break. And I'm like, okay. I waited like 10 minutes. It was break time after that, so I went to break. I ate an apple, I believe, and I was with my boyfriend. And we were doing this game show for the yearbook. They asked us to be in it if like what couple knows each other better. I was feeling fine for all that. I was okay. And then break ended till the bell rang, and I had felt like, oh my gosh, like I was so excited because I felt like me and my boyfriend both did really good on the game show. I'm like, oh my gosh, like we beat everybody, like I know you. And he's like, yeah. And then just out of nowhere, right when I was about to get up to go to my next class, I ended up fainting. And luckily my boyfriend caught me. I remember him telling me after, every time I ask him about it, I'm like, oh, do you remember the time I fainted at the blood drive? And he's like, yeah. And he tells me that he was slapping my face, trying to wake me up, because that was the first time I fainted in front of him. So it's happened a couple times. And he was just very scared. So, you know, and so they had to call like not the janitor, but the security guard to take me back to the blood drive because like all the nurses were there. So they took me on the golf cart, and my boyfriend's like, he's very tall compared to me. I'm very short. So he carried me out, and he carried me into the gym. And I'm not the type to like the attention on me. So when he was like, just imagine like a 6'4" guy carrying in like a teeny little girl. He was just walking in, and I was like, oh my gosh. I remember telling him, I'm like, baby, you don't need to do this. Like, this is embarrassing. I can walk. He's like, no, you can't walk. Your eyes are like rolling. And I'm like, okay. So it was kind of unsettling to go in like that, I believe with a bang. So it was kind of embarrassing. It was really embarrassing. I didn't like it at all because he walked in carrying me, and you know, just all the eyes were on me, and they're like, I could just hear like the whispering, and it just I didn't like it at all. I don't like putting myself in a situation like that. So after that, he had to go to his class, so I ended up just going home the same day. My mom picked me up, and the first thing she said was, did you really faint again? I'm like, yeah, because it's happened before. So all in all, I'm not good with taking my blood out, and ever since that day I overthink it. Even like if I need to get tests done for blood, I can't do it without like someone being there with me. And like since COVID, like it's harder. But yeah, I remember going to the doctors that same day, and the doctor just telling me, yeah, I just wouldn't recommend you taking out blood ever again. I'm like, oh, well, not taking out blood, but donating blood. I'm like, oh, don't worry, this event scarred me for life, so I'll never do that again. So yeah, thank you.